What's up? Good morning, everybody. Look at that. No coffee, no nothing. I'm wearing my Bork Bork shirt as promised. Don't necessarily think this is my color, folks, but I'm wearing it for Hurley Bird and Yomo. Hurley Bird is one of the OGs in the Algorand NFT space. Bork Borks is a fun NFT project. There you go. Guys, let's put the mic in front of me so you can hear me. And let's talk about all of the things, right? I had a big plan today, but it seems like the my algo scenario keeps drawing me in, keeps giving me more. Some people might say, Cooper, are you the hacker? Or are you the exploiter? Or are you the fisher? Because you launched this show right as this happened. Are you trying to create hype? I am not. I'm not. I am not that. If you watched the live yesterday, you know my technical prowess is lacking. Folks, look, there's a lot going on. I woke up and I've been completely consumed by what I'm hearing and what I'm reading. And I haven't even looked at any of the things that I usually look at in the morning. Is there any news? What are the markets doing? Futures and all that. I guess I will. Let's just go real quick before we dive into the MyAlgo stuff. Let's just dive in. I should say good morning, everybody. You're super sus. I'm just asking questions. What are you guys talking about? Good morning, Coop fam. There we go. Fam it up. Coffee all around. Aw, I'm drinking coffee for you, Coop. All right, love you guys. All right, cool. There's a joke going on about the copperdurnals, and I've started calling people copperheads. Is that a thing? Do I have to embarrass myself by trying to push that? All right, guys. Let's just real quick. Let's look at CoinMarketCap just to see what direction all this is going. So let's go here. Share it. Boom. 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 All right. Bitcoin's pushing down, folks. So I assume that futures are not looking great. 23.3. This is in range, though, in this kind of consolidation range that we've been seeing, and it is I don't know. There's two ways to look at this. Either it's consolidating in this range, and that's a good thing because people are getting used to that, or it's having a real hard time breaking that 200-week moving average, and we're going to see this go down. But you're not here for price predictions, folks, because I don't give those. This clearly could go either way, and you know that. But there are things to know. You know what I mean? Like I've said in the past, there are things to know. Ethereum is strong. It likes to sit here above 1,600. We'll see. It's clear that institutional money is on the sidelines waiting for A, Binance, and B, regulation. Speaking of regulation, shout out to Jim Stewart on Twitter. He asked a question earlier. Hey, Coop, do you think that this new CFO hire at Algorand Inc. indicates, and this is their first CFO, indicates that they need help navigating regulatory environment if algo is labeled a security? We definitely had Gary Gensler say recently that all cryptocurrencies except for Bitcoin are securities. I don't think that that's true. I don't even think he thinks that's true when it comes to certain things like, proof of work, forks of Bitcoin and stuff like that. But so, it would be wise, obviously, for Algorand Inc. to be preparing for that future. That doesn't mean that it's coming soon or right now, and I don't, Gary can't do that, but Congress. Okay, so Monero is doing okay, and then we got to get all the way down to Algorand, sitting around 24 cents. All right, there we go. That's it. That's that. Let's go back to Restream. I'll look at CoinDesk real quick, just to Well, I put this here yesterday just when it came to regulation. Let's just look at this article real quick. Let's see. All right. DeFi to go under microscope at the U.S. CFTC advisory group's opening session. The Derivative Regulators Technology Advisory Committee will examine DeFi among other tech priorities on March 22nd. It's DeFi will be the first topic discussed. A discussion about DeFi, including cyber vulnerabilities, indicators of decentralization. Now, we'll look at something else that's in the news recently. That this is important, guys. Decentralized finance does need to appear to be decentralized. Digital identity and unhosted wallets will contribute to an ongoing policy discussion in Washington, D.C. All right. There you go. So there's that. And then Bitcoin's pushing down a little bit. But before I continue my point about decentralization and decentralized finance, let's go over here. This is big boy. The Silvergate stock tumbles as bank delays and court two-time. Okay, that's not the same thing. Silvergate. So if you know, Silvergate is the biggest crypto bank, the one that was willing to deal in crypto, and backed by BlackRock. And they are in big trouble, folks. They're saying things like, we don't know if we can do this. And if you've been paying attention, you know that the US regulators are trying very hard to keep crypto services out of traditional banks. That's been a big push. Silvergate might be in a lot of trouble, folks. And that's not going to be, it's not going to be a good thing. This whole separating crypto from traditional banking is not going to stop. Binance. Okay. All right. We got to look at this. We do have to look at this. This is new. Senator's claim. Okay. A bipartisan grouping. I haven't seen this yet, guys. Let's make sure you guys are seeing this with me. Yeah, you are. Okay. A bipartisan grouping of 3 senators has pressed the crypto exchange on allegations it sought to limit compliance. Now, there is, Forbes magazine and CoinDesk yesterday have been talking a lot about, I think it's it's over $1 billion that of customer funds that they moved around to an investment firm that was run by CZ. And CZ and Binance come out and say this is all FUD. But other people are like, wow, this looks an awful lot like how FTX was doing deals. So, I mean, we're getting there. We're getting to this shoe dropping. And that shoe, if you've been on the sidelines, it might be the shoe you've been waiting for. And that's probably partly to do with what institutional money is waiting for. Like I said yesterday, the depth of liquidity in Bitcoin are, I think, as low as they were right after the FTX debacle. So this stability in the Bitcoin price seems it's transitory, because all it takes with low liquidity is a big buy or a big sell, which I guess a big buy could happen if there was good news. Why do I feel like good news isn't on the horizon? I don't know. Okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. Here they are. The letter from senators. Okay. Hotbed of illegal financial activity. Okay. So this is heating up, folks. According to the March 1 letter to Binance chief executive. Okay. So this just happened yesterday. The group requested details of the company's balance sheets, internal procedures, and any communications about alleged efforts by Zhao to limit compliance. The senators, Elizabeth Warren, who is a huge fan of cryptocurrency, their sarcasm, Chris Van Hollen, Democrat from Maryland, and Roger Marshall, a Republican from Kansas. Nice to see that Democrats and Republicans can agree, folks. Said that Binance and related entities have purposely evaded regulators, moved assets to criminals and sanctions evaders, and hidden basic financial information from its customers and the public. The exchange is reportedly bracing itself for significant fines for conduct. Well, significant fines are going to probably be brutal. That's not going to be a $30 million Kraken fine. Significant fines are clearly a best case scenario. Criminal charges, not that I'm saying that they're deserved. I have no idea, but that would be a bad case scenario. All right, so we got that. Let's go. Let's just make sure. Is there anything else that I need to? Coinbase jump ship from Silvergate, moves Prime customers to Signature. So yeah, Silvergate is done, folks. I think it's one of the highly shorted stocks out there. That the writing is on the wall. They basically said yesterday when it was like they lost over $1 billion, whatever. Arbitrum Dex, Arbiswap, rug pulls users for over $100,000. Sorry to anybody that happened to. All right. Well, that was a little more interesting than. So, what I was talking about with DeFi earlier, and when the CFTC talks about this decentralized finance, they're going to come after the fact that DeFi isn't decentralized, right? They're going to say that. A lot of it is, but a lot of it isn't. And it is actually a conversation that we have we had recently in the Algorand ecosystem. I talked about it with Chris Swenner when he came on my show. And, even at AlgoFest with Riley from Guard, sort of confronting Algo, their stuff. So wormhole counter exploit forces scrutiny of multi-sigs and DeFi. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this, but basically what happened is they used a multi-sig to reverse it. Now, there are a lot of moving parts to this story, and I don't want to misrepresent it because I don't quite understand the process on how this happened. It's not like they just decided to do this. There was a lot of different things that had to kind of line up for them to be able to do this. But in the end, these contracts were upgradable, and they were able to go pull back a bunch of this Ethereum, right? Ether. Okay, the spectrum of decentralization has been a hot topic. After receiving an order from the High Court of England, a privately owned app deployed on top of decentralized finance protocol MakerDAO carried out a counterattack by adding an authorized third party to its multisig, the third party believed to be Jump, then used it to upgrade Oasis's proxy contract, ultimately seizing the funds. Many industry participants raised concerns about this move as an indication of the centralization of DeFi. I mean, I kind of talked about this yesterday, but look, if decentralized finance appears to certainly the Elizabeth Warrens of the world to be actually centralized, they're going to murder it as best they can, if they can, in the US at least. So these upgradable smart contracts, these backdoors that are reliant totally on multisigs aren't necessarily the best way to do this. Now, obviously, when they go on, Uniswap is an example that does not have that. So there's these existing past iterations of Uniswap that you have to deal with, and they're it's sloppy, but at least no High Court of England can kind of force your hand if you're not in control of it. Does this mark the end of decentralization? I sure the hell hope not, because truly why I got here. All right, but we're here for other reasons today. Let's go here just real quick. I'll go to I'll just look at I'm just because I'm curious before I move on. I just want to look at this. This was an article I had actually queued up. This isn't what I wanted to look at, but this is what I queued up on the site. David Einhorn says investors should be bearish on stocks and bullish on inflation. Are you guys seeing this? Nope. All right, there we go. David Einhorn says investors should be bearish on stocks, bullish on inflation. David Einhorn did very, very well last year. Basically, a lot of people, there's like an inverse Kramer fund. He basically became extraordinarily successful yesterday. or yesterday, last year by going inverse Kathy Wood. Made a lot of money by doing the inverse Kathy Wood. A lot of people, retail investors, followed every step that Kathy Wood made. In the short term, it's been pretty disastrous. But she always talks. It's a 5-year plan for her. We'll see how it goes. She's got a few more years. Greenlight Capital's David Hunter believes inflation and interest rates could surprise to the upside. I mean, yes. Anybody that has gone shopping, certainly in my area, it did seem to cool off over the holidays, which was nice. Almost planned, it seems like, they work towards that probably, but it's creeping up over where I'm at. I'm feeling it. Anyways, okay. CNBC futures are okay. The NASDAQ is look at that, guys. There we go. It hasn't been sitting above that for a while. Yeah, that's bearish right there. NASDAQ futures down over 100 points. Yeah, today's probably not going to be great. Probably not going to be great. And then the S&P is getting down to that area where I think it'll break pretty low if it breaks it, but I don't know what I'm talking about necessarily. I know a little bit about a lot, and okay. Yeah, the US 10-year is over 4. Okay. Best Buy did good though. Okay. All right, there we go. That's enough. My algo. Let's talk about that. You guys want to talk about that? So my algo yesterday, if you watched my show, look, there's some definitive statements on Twitter by people that have been affected that this is definitely not phishing. It's been ruled out. And then also using D13, who's going to be on the show later. Have I mentioned that? D13 is going to join me on the show. He has some things that he thinks need to be cleared up. And I'm going to say what I think. So before he comes on, is that yesterday, all of these very kind of like, okay, we've ruled out phishing, and D13's preliminary report rules out phishing, yada, 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 yada. Well, John Woods, like I showed yesterday, said we have not ruled out phishing. And folks, I'm hearing it's very possible that my algo, when they told everybody to rekey their wallets, they were actually this was a precautionary move, and it was a sign of humility. I haven't talked to my algo wallet, or, I have had some contact with them, but their only position is like, look, we are working very hard to figure this out. We do not see on our end where this came from, but we have to allow for the fact that we're not seeing it. And then we had this developer from MetaMask, Tay, and we'll look at an exchange in a second, who all signs point to is actually connected to some of the victims of this thing. So she, like everybody, man, like, look, if your friend or your friend of a friend, or, you're going to want to go to bat for these people and help them out, right? That makes sense. And also, if you lose $1 million, and what if that $1 million is your investor's money and all that stuff? Yeah, you might be screaming to talk to a manager as well. Unfortunately, I guess the manager of my algo, I don't know. It doesn't matter. My point is that I have a feeling that ruling out phishing and malware or whatever is not what has happened. Okay. It's not ruled out. It's not. So I think it's important. I know there's both sides of this. I know people are like, my algo is going to be fine. And then there's people being like, all right, my algo is trash or whatever. If it does turn out that this is phishing, I think the community needs to support my algo, because they have been heavily tarnished in this. And they've been tarnished right as they are about to launch a very important product for their company. So, this is like a murky situation. And the fact that it's taking so long makes it seem like it's not as easy as this Tay woman makes it out to be. Let's just look at an exchange real quick between D13 and Tay. I don't know that he is going to want to talk about this much, so let's do it before he comes on. I mean, I don't know. I'm just assuming that, but I'm gonna share my screen here, and we're gonna look at this exchange. This is one that I didn't fully read yesterday, or I hadn't seen, because there was like a few different ones. I was in somebody referred me to a thread, and this is one that I didn't quite fully read. Maybe you guys have, but let's just look at it real quick. We're not gonna dwell on this too much, but let's just look at it. All right. Okay, so what are you saying? Are you posting misleading screenshots of heavily encrypted data for normies to think that's an easily compromised key? Are you? And then he kind of, D13 kind of gives her what she's giving. And then she says, you have no idea what led to 10 million being stolen. And the fact that you're playing insecure posturing games means you never will. Okay, well, that's rich coming from the posturing that she had done, but that's okay. Look, I want to try to stay out of that. And then D13 says, we can't rule out phishing, so we're recommending users keep themselves safe. We're offering some of what we know and why we think this move is prudent. You're just memeing and being obtuse. If you think there's a safer way to do a web wallet, speak. Okay, now she's laughing at him. You can't rule out phishing. Dude, it took me 2 fucking seconds to graph the theft transactions. Look at the timeline and know what it was, that it wasn't phishing. Something got taken and malicious code stole keys. This ain't rocket science, honey. There's 2 possibilities. Either the malicious code existed for 4 to 6 hours on late February 19th and took all who interacted during that time period, or the malicious code existed for various periods of time leading up to February 19th, 20th, and on it was on the night of February 19th that their access got rugged or they were detected, thus triggering them to start draining the wallets. The short duration of heavy drain, the thing that triggers, okay, so this is, you guys can read this yourself. If you want to go find this on Twitter, you can. And then, but she's breaking out something like, I don't know, is this right? I can't tell you if this is right or not. And, people like this will rely on that on occasion. I mean, she's clearly a very, very established person. So this is, you definitely want to take this stuff seriously. Or their access was rugged via whatever random means. Someone decides to push an update, rotate API keys, change a password, whatever. Find out who changed shit deliberately or inadvertently to any account or info or whatever. Okay. Despite your confidence and status, your conclusions read like loud assumptions and reckless posturing. The same certainty-colored assumptions that we've had since day one. User error, user error, user error only. Your statements actively hurt this perception of the ongoing issue. And it seems you're either punching down for sport or pushing your own agenda. Now, I do believe that she is friendly with people that have been affected. Now, we have a MetaMask developer on record saying she's certain it isn't phishing. Thanks, great. On to the timing points. Yes, it did occur to us as well that this wasn't done in real time. Would you have been as confident if this were affecting MetaMask after 2 seconds of searching? Bad. Well seen. Okay. And then they, look, D13 is going to bat. He's like, well, look, if someone from Google shat on your approach and conclusions mid-investigation in the same way, to be clear, when most of the attack, now she's defending willingness to listen and learn to protect users instead of saying, nope, can't be that, except our entire community was blaming the users, but we listened, investigated full force. You were pretending to teach in public while hurting public perception. All right. So we're going to have bruh. You literally are still fighting me instead of getting the Cloudflare logs and checking the certs. Your fucking posturing on this is next level. Well, I'm assuming that they got the Cloudflare logs and checked the certs. So I'm sure he can do both of these things at the same time. He's even coming on my show later. Multitasking. All right. Anyways. So, I mean, look, there's this fight. There's that. I'm also hearing, I have people reaching out to me that they are feeling a little misled by some people. Their money's on the line and they feel misled by some of the absolute statements about some of the activity of some of these hacked wallets. I need to be careful about all this stuff, hacked or exploited or phished or whatever. But I need to be careful about this. I don't want to say too much and get in the middle of something that I really don't know the details about. But there are lots of different sides to this. And I am heavily looking forward to a conclusion. How do you guys feel about that? Does that seem like a good idea? A conclusion. All right, it's 6:30. I only have What's up, No Face? I only have a few minutes with D13, so I think it would be wise to bring him in and see what he's got to say. Let's bring him in. Hey, Bit, are you there? Is he not there? Maybe not. Not yet. We're not there. Okay. Let me know when you're ready. I'm going to text him. Let me know when you're ready. Guys, this is a well-oiled machine. Let me know when you're ready. I was listening and seeing circles move. All right. So he's ready. He's just waiting for circles. But everybody can hear me, right? We got a good connection. Everything's fine. I got full bars. Let's see. Yes. So to Andubi, that is definitely possible. If they did find out what the exploit is and it's something that they're working on, they would most definitely not air that. They would want to fix that before they revealed definitively what is wrong. But okay, let's get Bit in here and see if this is working now. Are you there, Bit? If this isn't working, maybe sign out and come back in, and I'll let you in. And I'll just I'll talk to the community while I wait for you to do that. So what? Yeah, there you go. He left. All right. A conclusion would be good, right, Michael? There we go. This should work now. How about now? Are you there? Bit? Hello? No. I don't see your internet. Usually I can tell if you have good connection, but for some reason this isn't working. I don't want to spend too much time on things that aren't working. But let's try it again. Maybe check and see if everything's going right on your side. I don't know why this isn't working. All right. Well, instead of dwelling on that, let's see. I'll check in a couple of minutes and see if something gets cleared up over there. I was talking about Silvergate. We already talked about that. I was going to talk about today, and I was thinking, because I had D13 coming on the show, I was going to push it tomorrow. But, look, this show is intended to be for everybody, right? But clearly I am heavily involved in Algorand. And right now is not a great time. The bear market is, brutal. You can feel the capitulation. There's a lot of things. The NFT community is feeling, you see StockTwits post like $25 million worth of NFT volume for Ethereum. And then, Algorand's at the very end, like all the NFT users like have to go to Coinstar at the supermarket and then, get their little gift card and cash it and then transfer it to Coinbase and then get it onto DeFi so they can buy a NFT. Look, the liquidity is strapped. But we got D. Oh, there we go. D13's here with a microphone this time. I see the difference, D13. Let's do it. All right, there we go. I bet you I can hear you this time.
Today I learned that Firefox doesn't work with this.
Oh, Firefox. Yeah, maybe Firefox doesn't work. It's true. I think I have found Safari does work, but Restream really likes Google Chrome.
Yes, everyone does.
So how are you doing? Now, you heard me go through. I'm sure you didn't want me to go through that tweet exchange, but I did anyways. How? I know you wanted to clear some things up. Maybe your preliminary report, and there should be a focus on preliminary, might be misinterpreted by some people or using it to defend something that you don't quite have that exact same conviction about. So what are you thinking, Bit?
You've covered most of what I wanted to say in that nothing is definitive right now. Phishing has absolutely not been ruled out. And you touched upon something that I wanted to mention about Rand Labs. which is the company behind MyAlgo, as most of us would know. And you said that it showed humility. And more than that, it showed sacrifice. So right before you're about to launch a cross-chain protocol, a really ambitious project, you make a sacrifice to make this precautionary announcement just in case, to keep your users safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to see people swinging from, oh, phishing, it's 100% phishing, and to now go, phishing is ruled out, and talking about an exploit that hasn't been found, hasn't been confirmed, it's suspected that there might be something. And the more people look, the more they're excluding avenues. I'm not going to be sharing any new technical info.
Yeah.
This is literally an investigation involving law enforcement in multiple countries right now.
Right.
So, yeah. And another point is that if this were like a centralized thing, if it were a centralized exchange, if it were a bank and they had like exposure to 10 million, they could do some risk calculus in-house, right?
Mm-hmm.
They could go, all right, our insurance policy is going to cover the first 20 million and blah, 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 and figure out if they're going to put something public or you know, how they're going to act and react to this. But when you're providing a service that's using to secure other people's money, you can't gamble with that, and you have to make a sacrifice sometimes just in case there is something. So this is what's happened here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think it's worth pointing out as well that, you know, RAN Labs aren't noobs. You know, these guys are sophisticated people. They're building, they've been around for a while. They aren't who this developer was making them out to be, right? She really wanted to paint them as rookies, and like they're missing something so obvious. Now, what do you think about what, you know, if you can, what do you think about her technical theory about what has gone wrong?
So before the technical theory, I'd like to touch upon the point of technical authority.
Okay.
When you are an established technical person with a lot of knowledge in the space, especially if you are a MetaMask developer, people are going to defer to your opinion and authority, even if your tone is memeish or incorrect. So, you know, if it's a meme crypto account making fun of something, it is one thing. I have heard I've seen at least twice the opinion that, yeah, I mean, her tone wasn't good, but I mean, maybe there's something to it because she is a MetaMask developer, like she's a really smart cookie. And I'd like to I'd just like to say that her initial tweet was incredibly misleading because it basically communicated to people who might even technical people that RAND Labs was storing secrets unencrypted.
Yeah.
And she showed a screenshot of some hex codes like, the key's right there. All you have to do is like open the developer's tool and it's right there. This is absolutely not the case. As far as we can tell, MyAlgo has been built with like the best practices for a web wallet. And the implied criticism is that you can't make a web-based wallet that is as secure as an extension wallet, which coincidentally is her approach or her company's approach. So as far as it wasn't a criticism specifically about MyAlgo,
right.
But it's absolutely not communicated like that when you're making a meme that is virally quoted and retweeted and liked.
Right.
And people think there's something wrong about the MyAlgo approach, which is basically how you build a web wallet. You have to store this information somewhere. They encrypt it about 1 million times. Well, quite literally, they create a key out of 1 million iterations of your password. And it's going to stay somewhere. Otherwise, you're entering your seed phrase every time, which is even less secure.
So it seemed to me, and look, you are obviously way more, you'll be able to break this down much more than I would ever be able to. But from my very simple view of it, it seems that she's pointing out that extensions versus storing it in the browser, I guess. So what is the difference there?
I mean, it's a different approach, and a web-based wallet could be a bit more vulnerable than an extension-based wallet at times.
Right.
But that is not quite what she came out and tweeted. The very top tweet, the fuckers tweet, right?
Yeah. So
Um,
intense. And then it's so funny when people tweet something like that, and then they are like, "Why isn't anybody listening to me?
why is everyone so angry? Yeah, why is the algorithm community so angry at me?
Why are the long boys mocking me?" Yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder. Yeah. Anyways, sorry. Go ahead. Well, okay,
Uh,
so the idea, but so the point is okay, so there is a difference, and it is potentially, I guess, I read a lot about surface area. Like, look, like I said, I'm not going to pretend to know what I'm talking about here, but I read about surface area. The surface area is different. Now, my algo isn't the only web wallet that does it this way, though, right? There are other wallets out there that do it precisely like my algo that did not lose $10 million this last week.
you can't make a wallet that doesn't store the seed phrase anywhere.
Right.
And there's local storage, IndexedDB, or cookies. Nobody's going to store in cookies, so it's going to be one or the other two. In any case, if you enter a URL to get to your wallet, it ends up in some kind of storage that is associated with your account.
Okay.
And that it's best practices as far as we've seen from the MyAlgo team.
Yeah.
There's references in Tay's analysis that if you're loading code from 100 different like content delivery networks, then any compromise in those could lead to a compromise in your wallet, which is valid. Does
Mm-hmm.
MyAlgo load from 100 CDNs? No, they load from myalgo.com and Google Analytics. Full stop.
Now there has been a criticism, and this is probably a question better directed at Rand Labs, but maybe you have a thought on it. There's a criticism that there are critical aspects of the MyAlgo wallet that are closed source that are stopping people from being able to really see what's under the hood. Is there truth to that? And if there is, what are some good reasons why MyAlgo would have certain aspects of their wallet closed source?
It's true that it is closed source, I guess, and this isn't really a discussion that I'm qualified to make. I mean, if you make it open source for one, you'd make phishing a lot easier, right? Because someone can just clone your repo, put it on d13.myalgo.d13.co,
Mm,
and fish users that way. So it raised the bar to that, and also people can just take your intellectual property and use it either for ill, as I just mentioned, or for their own purposes.
yeah.
So that's kind of neither here nor there. Clearly, they're auditing everything, including everything that they have indicated, which you wouldn't be surprised to hear that almost no new information, if not no new information, was provided there.
Yeah. So I mean, are you aware of this? Or do you feel like law enforcement and everybody investigating this, we're getting close to a conclusion of this? The longer this drags on, I mean, it just seems like we see these things happen all the time, and they seem to get resolved rather quickly. And that's usually because there was a bug or there was something that they can quickly identify. It does seem strange to me that this is taking so long. And based on the public statements or the statements that have been made to me, um, as far as I've been told, my algo, I mean, this is not current information. It's been a few days, but my algo has not found anything that they can point to in their code. So to me, that makes it, I assume that it's taking so long because they're not able to find that. And it's a much more convoluted scheme. But I don't want to, I don't want to jump to any conclusions anymore. I mean, I've been on the verge of speculating maybe a bit too much, I guess. But I don't know. So how are you sensing that this is coming to a close soon?
When there's something to find easily, or even not so easily, you can find it fairly quickly. If it's something really advanced, maybe it's going to take you a bit longer.
Yeah.
I think the only new information that they provided was under the initial MyAlgo tweet as an actually helpful response, rather than the quote tweet, which was calling them fuckers, about an advanced persistent threat and Cloudflare and something. And while I haven't been involved in the investigation since Monday, uh, I am sure that this is being checked out. A lot of the public aspects that would lead to an existence of a rogue certificate or something like that have been investigated and eliminated. So there's a
Okay.
lot of stuff that has been ruled out. I mean, yeah, but further than that, I can't really speak to when it's going to be resolved.
Of course not. And just so I'm clear about what you said there in the beginning, that this MetaMask devs tweet about checking Cloudflare and the certs or whatever, that was actually a good idea. And that was, you're saying that that was actually a helpful part. And if she had started with
Yes,
stuff like that, then like, oh, hey, look at you, you're helping us.
of course. And
Yeah,
this would have been such a helpful move to make, well, even in public, fine, but especially in private.
yeah,
And let's not forget that MetaMask is going to be launching on Algorand soon. So such a measure of goodwill to your, extending help to your competitor, quote unquote, as you're entering an ecosystem, that would have been an amazing move to make.
I know.
And
I didn't
instead
understand that.
you're
That's what
quoting
made
them,
me.
calling them fuckers and misleading people. I mean, what are you doing?
I mean, I don't know if you watched my show yesterday, but I made the point that they've been integrating with Algorand clearly for a while. And if you're MetaMask and you're integrating on a new layer one with a completely different, coding language and all that stuff, like you would think that you would check out the only other mass adopted web wallet in the ecosystem. And if it is as obvious as she says it is, you would think that MetaMask would identify that, reach out to somebody so $10 million aren't drained out. I mean, do you think that that was a fair thing for me to say?
Sorry, what?
I mean, do you think that's a fair point of mine? I don't know. I kind of said that yesterday. I was piggybacking on what you just said about like you could be helpful. It seems like if it was so easy, like was trying to say, it was so glaring that
Right.
wouldn't it? I mean, wouldn't it have been identified by these MetaMask developers as they were integrating with Algorand anyways? Because they would clearly be looking at what the MyAlgo wallet is doing on Algorand. I mean, I don't know.
I don't really know how deep this is looked at, how many organizations have been involved in this investigation. It wasn't just like some dude bit at D13 who looked by himself. There's people from Algorand Inc., Algorand Foundation, Rand Labs, Pera Wallet, Nimble Insurance, Vantage. I mean, this isn't just some guy in his basement drawing out strings on a conspiracy theory corkboard. Okay. Yeah,
Did you just say that I'm in my basement drawing on corkboard D13?
I'm
Is that
also in my basement, but other people in their basements can double check what I'm drawing on my corkboard.
yeah, you're not sharing your screen. Well, look, a bit. It's been great. Is there anything else that you want to make sure that everybody realizes? And is there anything else you want to say? I mean, I will say on behalf of the Algorand community, I'm sure that most agree with this statement. Thank you so much for all that you have been doing and the way you've been communicating and frankly, fighting for the Algorand community as well. So I appreciate it. And I think many in this audience do as well.
That's really nice of you, and no, I don't have anything else to share.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, I know that you have to go. So thank you so much for joining me, man. And anytime, let me know if there's anything that you think that needs to be said. I'm happy to have you on anytime.
Thank you very much.
All right. I appreciate it. All right. There you go. What do you guys think of that? I probably should have looked at the chat to see if you guys had questions. Darn it. He's actually still here. But maybe MetaMask did the hack to lure people to their wallet. They will come out with some new security feature. I know. You guys, I'll wear that tinfoil hat. Yeah, guys, you know what I mean? Like, come on, we're on YouTube. I have to have a little bit like of, I know I have some tinfoil next to me. I've got it. And that's always what I've been. I don't know if there's anybody out there that has been following my channel for a while. I used to do this Magnum PI thing for a while where, I enjoy this and I think I'm pretty good at reading people and piecing things together. But obviously when it comes to stuff like this, it can get a little dangerous and I don't want to harm anything. So I do want to be more careful, but, or just be careful. Maybe not more, maybe I have been careful. And I just want to remind myself, is there a tamer? Knucking futs, man. That's what I'm saying. I'll go nice. Knucking futs. Okay, let's see what the market did. How has it How is it open? And then if you have any questions in the chat, put them in there. I see Bit is still in the room, so maybe he'll hang out and I can bring him back if I didn't ask something that you wanted to ask Bit from D13. But before we do that, let me just look and check how the markets are. The Dow is sliding. It's sliding, folks. All right. Dow slides Thursday as rates march higher. The rates cool down a little bit, but we got over 100 points, almost 1% down in the NASDAQ. The S&P is doing okay. The Dow is doing better, so you got okay. So we're looking like value stocks are back in fashion. The 2-year treasury yield reaches highs not seen in more than a decade. These aren't good signs, folks, unless you're short. Tesla disappointed yesterday in their big investor day. I didn't watch that, so if you have a alternate opinion, wow, Macy's did better than they thought. Does anybody go to Macy's? I don't go to Macy's. My mom used to go to Macy's all the time, but eventually it got a little like, Mom, I don't really like the Macy's clothes for Christmas. Okay, Best Buy tops holiday quarter. Okay, so there you go. The markets are down, and then I guess I'll just go look at. Well, actually, here we can do this. Yeah, I want to share this tab instead. Yeah. Okay, so that does work. Let's refresh this and let's just take a quick look at this. I'll look at some questions and then we'll move forward. All right, so it's all the same. Great. Okay, he goes to Dillard's. All right, Algonice goes to Dillard's. Kurt Wilson, somebody's going. They're still business. Yep, somebody goes to Macy's. They're still in business at the mall. That's the fragrance destination. Guys, let's have a Macy's conversation. Me and my friends. I know 95% male in here, but there's potentially some women watching this, and I would like to say hello and thank you for joining me and us. Look at this. David from Crypto for Change knows that Macy's is a lovely fragrance destination. We're all worldly men. God, what's wrong with me? This going live at 6 a.m. in the morning. What a decision. Oh, man. All right. So Algonice, often to asset ID. What are you giving away? Crypto for Change. Silvergate, not looking good. No. That's not looking good. Okay. Has that escalated in the last 15 minutes? I mean, that is got to be the worst situation that we could possibly be dealing with. MicroStrategy founder Michael Saylor loses court bid to dismiss DC tax evasion claims. Oh boy. When I'm not an expert on this stuff, but when they remove crypto from banking and all of these things, and the things that might be protecting this man from liquidation and all that stuff, this potentially, guys, they could be going for the jugular. I said that I wanted to be positive today, and I will be. Friday will be Friday Fun Day. Friday Fun Day. It's usually Sunday Fun Day, but I don't do this on Sundays. Friday Fun Days. At least there's at least alliteration. Let's think of some fun things that I can do tomorrow. I'll have Crypto for Change maybe come up with some ideas. He seems to have a good sense of humor. Silvergate is down 45%. I wouldn't buy that dip. I would not buy that dip. NFTs and Lightning Network, Ordinals and Lightning Network, they're going to probably look pretty good here pretty soon. Yeah, this Binance thing, Coinbase gone from Silvergate. what do we got here? Algo fam. We got our buddy, our big buddy. Let's look at it. Just want to make sure it's still on the screen. Algo Knots. Algo, what are they called? Randos. Skybridge. Al Mascari holding partner. Oh, Al Mascari holding partner with, partner. Oh, Jesus. Skybridge and Al Mascari partner with blockchain firm Casper Labs. Casper, which provides enterprise-grade blockchain services, also recently announced a tie-up with Google Cloud. Enterprise-grade blockchain service. Our buddy, the Mooch, seems to be hedging his bets on enterprise-grade blockchain services. Let's see. Skybridge, the Anthony Scaramucci-led global alternative investment firm, and the Al Mascari family's holding company said they will provide strategic support, including business development, investor relations, and marketing services to Casper Labs, a blockchain software company focused on enterprise and government. That's exactly what Algorand's doing. Skybridge, which had ties to now bankrupt crypto exchange FTX, is acquiring warrants to become a shareholder in Casper Labs, whose native CSPR token has dropped to 4 cents from an all-time high, $1.33. Casper is pretty unique because they're providing an enterprise software decentralization model. We think that it's not just for financial services, but could be used across the whole spectrum, including cloud computing. Casper Labs is adding big name partners during a particularly harsh crypto winter, which saw venture capital and other investments in the industry drop 91% year on year in January, though the backing of infrastructure projects remained relatively strong. Enterprise-grade technology, Casper Labs built a layer 1 blockchain that's meant to scale to meet the operational needs of businesses and governments, providing transaction transparency that can help boost revenue at a relatively low cost. Every design decision we've made is for enterprise and government usage. If you think about most blockchains, the way they've been built is to almost create a shadow economy, in the sense that if an enterprise or government wanted to use that technology, it would mandate almost a full teardown of their existing tech infrastructure. Manohar says Casper's blockchain can work with the company's existing tech stack. He also noted that Casper Labs also offers upgradable smart contracts. We just talked about that. Didn't we just talk about that? But just like Algorand does too, by the way, which gives clients the ability to iron out bugs and make changes for the future, and also makes it not necessarily decentralized. But there are definitely security reasons why sometimes trusting a single source is more secure. It's brutal, guys. It's a brutal world. This is a interesting world that we're in, where, there is a saying, if code is law, right? So it's not stealing, right? If you can crack the code and take the money, that's not stealing. That is the code's fault, right? So you're in the cutthroat world, by the way. I know I've been talking about Algorand for 2 years, and it attracts a couple of types of people. It attracts very tech-minded people that know this stuff inside and out and are impressed by Silvio Macaulay and everything else. And then it also attracts the curious. It's a very easy entry. There are conservative crypto people that are like, wait a second, I want to be part of this, but I need there to be gravitas, and I need there to be some idea that they may be able to navigate a future regulatory environment. Then they see Silvio, and then they start to use DeFi for the first time, and it's actually very fast and easy. There's so many people I hear on Twitter always being like, oh my God, Algorand was my first DeFi experience, and then I go try to use almost any other blockchain, and it's a complete disaster. So my point is that this world is cutthroat. So if you're on the newer side, it's good to kind of understand where you are and really understand how to secure your assets, because you truly are the one responsible for that. The new partnerships bring useful connections, with Manohar noting that Scaramucci has one of the most impressive Rolodexes out there. The Al Mascari family has a deep network of contacts in the United Arab Emirates. Algorand just announced partnership and being part of the hub there in UAE. So they're there as well, a region that turned bullish on blockchain technology fairly early. If we get this right, people will start adapting this protocol. It will become an industry standard. Interesting, man. Aw, Mooch. Mooch. Where you going, Mooch? What happened? I thought we had a thing. You're on my show twice. Now you're doing you're doing Casper Labs, government institutional adoption in the UAE. Man, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, folks? This is hard. I'm here. You guys have me. We might not have Mooch, but the Algorand community has the ReCoop. Does that make you feel better? Oh man. All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate that you continue to find it interesting to watch me talk. I think I made a good decision. I like this. I'm getting used to the waking up. I don't know if I said this earlier, but I'm a light sleeper. I've got a baby and I'm waking up at 4:30 a.m. This is a journey. I'm on a journey to a destination, but I don't know what that destination is, folks. All right. Hey, I'll stop talking. Tomorrow is Friday, fun day on the ReCoop. Please come back. And of course, I'll continue to cover this My Algo thing until it finds its conclusion. And yeah, thank you to the guys and the gals that are in the chat every day. I really appreciate you guys. There's got to be a way that I can find to reward you guys for being early on this show. Hopefully, I can build this to be something pretty exciting. All right. Have a great rest of your Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Eastern. Peace.